What's up, guys? This is Mike with Modern Da Vinci, and I'm gonna try and keep this real short for you. I've got a tip on how to get those pesky customers who won't email you back or won't return your voice messages to finally call you back. And I kind of, I guess, discovered this on my own, but found out later that there's a real strategy behind this and a name for it. So before I tell you that, let me tell you kind of how I discovered this, because I know it's going to resonate with you. I was at a conference and I met somebody there at the conference who expressed a lot of interest in our products, right? They really were showing me all of the buying signs, and I'm shaking their hand, we're exchanging business cards, we're telling each other that we're going to follow up, and we left the conference, and a couple days later I followed up and thanked him for meeting with me, reminded him how we met and what he was interested in, and I said, hey, you asked me to follow up, you asked me to schedule a meeting, so why don't we do that? Let's get together in the next couple of days here, either online or I'll come visit you, and we can make something happen. He didn't respond. So then I called him a couple days later. Hey, I sent you an email, just letting you know that I'm still available to meet, just like you said we would in the conference. Let's set up a time to talk. Crickets, no response. And I did this again and again and again, because I'm kind of persistent and a little bit annoying like that, but he still wasn't responding. So finally, when it got to the point where I felt like I was being annoying, I sent an email. I said, listen, I probably emailed you too many times. I feel like I'm being a little bit pesty. So if you're not interested anymore, don't feel the need to email me back. Don't feel the need to call me back. But if you are, here's my number, here's my email address. Feel free to open a communication anytime, and we can reopen that discussion we were having at the conference. Well, he emailed me back almost instantly and said, hey, sorry, I've been busy, blah, blah, blah. Let's schedule that meeting. I was like, wow, that worked great. So I tried it again with somebody else. I met another person. Who knows where it was this time? It may have been another conference. Maybe just bumped into him somewhere. We started talking about business. He showed interest. Emailed him, called him, emailed him again, emailed again, and crickets. Just crickets every single time. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to try this again. Sorry to pester you. If you're not interested in what we talked about, I completely understand. I'm not going to follow up with you anymore. But if you are, here's my contact information, and let's get together and chat. Right then, emailed me back almost instantly. I thought, man, there is something to this. And so for the past year and a half, I've been using this technique as a way to do two things. It's to let them know that, hey, look, I'm not going to bother you anymore, right? And we don't have to have this relationship. If you are not really interested, or sort of things have changed in your situation, that's okay. I'm not going to keep pestering you if you're not actually interested in buying what it is that I have to sell. Number two, it gets it off my plate, right? Because every time I send an email to somebody and I'm waiting for a response, I have to follow back up with them again and again and again, and it kind of takes a lot of, it taxes me mentally. My to-do list continues to grow. At some point, you just got to kind of cut them off and say, look, I've tried enough. It's time to end this. So I love this technique. I found out later it's called going negative, but it really isn't a bad or negative thing. It just means that you're sending them an email and putting the responsibility on them to contact you. And what's happening is, when you meet somebody and they show interest in what it is that you're selling, whether it's a product or a service, and you tell them that you're going to follow up with them, the ball's in your court, right? So you send that email, and even though you're asking them for some feedback, you're asking them to either get a meeting or maybe give you some feedback on data sheets that you sent or whatever it is, the ball really is still in your court, because you're owning the relationship and you're saying, I'm the one that's trying to set up a meeting. I'm the one that's trying to initiate the next step here. And it's just too easy to kind of let things go, right? People get busy. They're not sure if they've got the time or if they've got the money There's a lot of sort of risks that enter their head in opening up a dialogue with you, and so they just don't respond. And that's why you hear those crickets. But the second that you say, hey, I'm not going to bother you anymore. I understand if this isn't going to be a business relationship, but I'm not going to email you anymore. I'm not going to call you anymore. You don't have to worry about it. I completely understand. No big deal. That puts the ball in their court. And all of a sudden, they have a feeling that they need to put it on their plate. They need to put it on their to-do list that, oh my gosh, this guy's not going to email me anymore. I'm not going to actually get to hear about his products. I'm not going to get to hear about his services. We're not going to set that meeting up unless I do something now. So the ball is transferred to them, even though it feels like you're kind of giving up that control. It's a great way to get those customers that just haven't been able to respond to you to respond. It's also a great way to just get it off of your plate. If you've emailed them a bunch of times and you just feel like, no, it's not going anywhere, you feel like you're getting a little bit too pesty, just tell them, I'm not going to bother you anymore after this if you're not interested, but if you are, here's my contact information. Please follow up at any time and we can start talking about how it is that we can help you. So I hope this helps. If you want to look it up online, it's called it's just a sales technique called Going Negative. HubSpot's got a great article on it. I'm going to write an article on it here very soon on moderndavinci.net. It's going to talk about this sales technique in particular and show you how to construct that. So if you're interested, go to www.moderndavinci.net, and at the top of the screen, right at the top of the screen, you'll see a newsletter sign up. Just put your email address in there, click go, and you will be in our newsletter. We'll send you small business tips like this. Thanks for the likes, guys. Small business tips like this once a week, no spam, just good information on how to run your small business effectively. We're going to cover topics like leadership, marketing, sales, just like this, product development, services development, all those things that small business owners and their management teams care about. So I hope this helps. Thank you so much for checking in, throwing a few likes my way. Be sure to share this and ask other people to follow, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.